Hello and welcome to my video, Jim's Rules of Writing. It's silly, I know. But it's an attempt to help you improve the quality of your writing on your assignments and even business communication. So I've just come up with some thoughts on techniques, tools, and processes I use that might be helpful to you. Writing is a learned skill, and I'm hoping that I can convey some of those ideas and thoughts to you in this presentation. One thing I can tell you is that writing is a skill that anyone can learn. If I can do it, you can do it. No better time to start practicing than in this course. You see, the challenge is not to let your great ideas get lost, because the reader is getting focused on the errors, the grammar, the misspellings, the organizational problems, rather than your great content. What we really want to do here is to identify the common errors so we can fix these very correctable mistakes. We're going to cover some pretty decent writing tools. We'll review the common writing errors, references, formatting, and lastly, I will share my personal writing process. So believe it or not, I still get papers turned in with plain old simple spelling errors. And what that tells me is the student did not turn on spell checking, did not use Microsoft Word to do basic spell checking. Now, one of my favorite tools to use, Grammarly. I recommend Grammarly. I don't have any relationship with the company. I just find it to be a very, very good tool. If it's productive for me, it's probably going to be productive for you. And by way of example, I'll show you some Grammarly output of something that I'm currently writing for the California HIM Association, and I found pages and pages and pages of things needed to be redone. Any work you do should be edited several times. It's never good just on the first draft. The most commonly misspelled word is the word EHR, because Microsoft Word flips it around like that. But nonetheless, there is an easy fix, and it's pretty straightforward, depends on the Microsoft version you have. The use of healthcare with a space or healthcare without a space, to me, is one of personal choice, because our industry accepts both. But in your writing, make sure you are consistent. Watch out for incorrect capitalization. For example, healthcare should not be capitalized unless it's at the beginning of a sentence. And if you're using the two-word version, it's only the H that's capitalized, not the C. Kind of writing that we do for academics, very formal. And as such, formal writing is not allowed to use contractions. And we certainly don't use slang in formal writing. We really should be writing in the third person, not the first. Also, we want to try using the active voice, not the passive voice, to improve the clarity of your writing, specifically the subject who's actually doing the action. None of us enjoy writing without real substance. The graduate level work that we're doing should be analytical in nature, where we formulate our original ideas and we assess the subject of what we're writing about. We don't really want book reports that are just giving us restatements of the research, but rather we want, in our analysis, there's almost always a word that has the exact precision that you're looking for. The chances are, when you're editing, you can replace many words with just one if you look hard enough for the precise meaning that you need. Now, one of the big challenges I see in writing is the use of platitudes, trite or really unoriginal concept or obvious statement that doesn't add anything to the topic of which you're writing about. Hospitals must do a better job to protect the safety of patients. And when we go to reduce words, these platitude sentences are the things that I always try to target. We really have to consider plagiarism, and that's why we use Turnitin for the students to double check their writing to ensure there is nothing that is unintentionally inside the paper that shouldn't be. Make very sparing use of quotes. Copy and paste. The form of the writing is intact in the student's writing. That piece of original work was edited within the student's document, changing a word order, substituting words, removing sections, and so forth. And that still is a form of plagiarism. Avoid that entirely by not even doing the copy and paste and editing. Let's just write from scratch. 2 short words on formatting. Pay attention to the assignment requirements. If something says 3 pages, that means 3 full pages. The text should spill over to a 4th page. Also related, leave the margin standards alone. If I have to get my ruler out to measure, you know somebody's losing a point. And that reminds me of that old Mark Twain quote. I didn't have time to write you a short letter, so instead I wrote you a long one. The point really is that creating well-written papers and documents, PowerPoints, discussion board posts, even emails, takes time. So we need to budget time to do several drafts. Quality writing says more with less words. Make your writing more precise. Some more thoughts on the drafts. My personal process. I read almost everything I write out loud. This means that I read every single word. I don't skim. And when I stumble, that means the reader is going to probably stumble too. And that disconnect points me to sections of the paper that need work. My rule of thumb in writing is I try to write much more than what the length should be. As I'm editing, reducing my word count 20-30% per edit. Make sure that your paper summary catches all your key points. It should mirror your introduction to some extent. If you have any questions at all about any of the topics or want to make any comments, please feel free to reach me at my school email address here or my personal email address, artofpatientmatching@gmail.com, and of course through LinkedIn. So please feel free to connect with me there. If the video was useful, definitely give it a thumbs up or subscribe, because you never know what other topics I'm going to put out, and I'm always here to help. So reach out. Have a great day. Goodbye.